We've got the finale to the Hunger Games. Well, at least the first part of it. Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1. Alright, so the Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1 picks up immediately where Catching Fire left off. Spoiler alert for Catching Fire, but at the end of that movie, the rebellion's really starting to take off. Katniss gets taken to District 13 where they're going to start this giant rebellion with President Coin. And then Peeta, Finnick's girlfriend, and some other chick gets taken to the Capitol. Which leads us into Mockingjay where Katniss is trying to head up the rebellion. The Capitol's feeding Peeta all these lies that he has to say on TV for propaganda and whatnot. And I was kind of nervous going into this movie. I heard that Mockingjay was kind of the least favorite of all the books, and I figured, okay, they're just gonna split it into two movies just for the sake of making more money, and that probably was the reason that they did it. But I think that Mockingjay Part 1 is actually a really good movie. First of all, the cast: Jennifer Lawrence, she's amazing as Katniss. I mean, you're never gonna hear someone say anything bad about Jennifer Lawrence. Even for people that don't like Jennifer Lawrence, they're not gonna say anything bad about her just because of all the backlash that they're gonna get. But she really understands the character of Katniss. It's kind of funny seeing her trying to cooperate with the District 13 government. They're giving her all this propaganda to say, but it's all scripted. It's not really going the way that they want. And then once they actually let Katniss be Katniss, that's where they start getting sympathy. All the supporting cast around District 13 was good. Woody Harrelson, Julianne Moore, they were both great in the movie. I'm glad we got to see Stanley Tucci a little bit in this movie. I was a little worried. I didn't think he would be in it that much. Donald Sutherland as President Snow gives this really good monologue near the end of the movie. And one performance that really stood out for me in this movie was Josh Hutcherson as Peeta. I gave Josh Hutcherson a lot of crap when the first Hunger Games movie came out. I think in my Catching Fire review, I did say that he stepped it up a little bit more and that he was better in this one than he was in the original. And in this one, I think he's doing his best work because he's trying to fight what the Capitol's telling him, but he knows if he doesn't say what the Capitol's telling him, that they're gonna kill him. He wants to be loyal to Katniss and the rebellion, but the Capitol's destroying him. It was a really interesting dynamic. It was really cool to see Josh Hutcherson expand his acting range. And I've talked a lot about the propaganda and stuff in this movie. You don't really see a lot of fighting. There was like one or two big action scenes, but for me, that was completely fine. The dialogue and the stuff going on behind the scenes of the war, that was the stuff that was really interesting to me. Some movies can't do that. I mean, the Star Wars prequels, they were not able to carry the movie based off political dialogue. Mockingjay pulled it off to a surprising degree. There were a couple characters that kind of got sidestepped in the movie, which was kind of a bummer. Finnick was one of the coolest characters in Catching Fire. He had a couple scenes in this movie. He did have one great scene near the end, though. I'm glad that they put that in. Liam Hemsworth as Gale, I'm starting to like a little bit more. I thought he was really generic in the first movie. Again, the second one, you see him kind of step up in the rebellion a little bit more. This third one, same thing. But I just feel like he's a little underutilized. He does get a lot of screen time in this movie, but it's a lot of background stuff. I think he's just getting overshadowed by Katniss, who we've grown to love throughout the last 3 movies. The ending of this movie was really cool. It totally baited you in for the second movie, although you can totally tell they could have squeezed this into one movie. I actually don't know if that's true because I haven't read the books. I'm just upset that I didn't get to see the awesome finale. So I'm hoping for Mockingjay Part 2 to be the really awesome conclusion. I'll be able to watch these 2 movies back to back once they are released on Blu-ray. But for now, we have a really solid movie that just there's no finale to, which is a bummer. I want to see what happens. I'm really excited for it. When the first Hunger Games movie came out, I did not think I'd ever get this excited for this series. But I'm really pumped to see Mockingjay Part 2. I might actually read the books now. I mean, these last 2 movies have been really good. I didn't like Mockingjay as much as I liked Catching Fire. I think I gave Catching Fire like a B+. I'd probably give it now like an A- or an A. That was a really solid movie. The first one I don't really like as much, but I think Francis Lawrence is a much better director than Gary Ross was. And so with that said, I'm gonna give Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1 a B+. Not quite as good as Catching Fire, but a lot better than the first Hunger Games movie. So check it out if you haven't already seen it. I'm sure if you're a fan of this series and you've watched the first 2 movies, then you've already seen this one. But don't watch this one without watching the first 2, especially Catching Fire. You really have to watch that to understand what's going on here. And so Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1. Have you guys seen it? What did you guys think about it? Comment down below with your guys' thoughts on the movie. And thanks for watching this video. If you guys like it, you can click here to see more.